back to my amazing channel, and today we will be discussing some towers that are, in my opinion, very overhated by everyone, and towers that don't get enough credit for the stuff that they actually do right. So, hope you enjoy the video and make sure that you like and subscribe. I've heard it's trendy, and yeah, let's just get right into it with some overhated towers, because these towers don't deserve all the bad mouthing that people tend to give them. And honestly, I think that they just deserve a little bit of time in the spotlight to be shown how they're not all bad. I really think that people are too harsh on this Steeple, and honestly I kinda like it for what it is. Sure, there is some gameplay within it that is a little questionable, and yeah, kill bricks can be spammed, but I think the concept of the lava rising is a really cool idea, and it keeps you on edge the entire time, even when you're much higher in skill. Also, it's a very good skill booster for beginners, as they can practice doing things under pressure, which is a key skill that they will need for later parts of the game. It's pretty short as well, and while it might be a little annoying, especially if you loop fail it, I don't think it's fair to hate on this Steeple when it does a lot of good things and has some unique and interesting ideas. While I understand that this tower's gameplay is really old and it features a lot of unnecessary traps that can make the overall experience feel more painful, you can't forget just how many cool and creative ideas went into this tower, especially for its time. The soundtrack's absolutely goated, first of all, and each floor feels like a different idea is used, and the tower overall feels like such a wild ride to go through. The gameplay's oddly entertaining once you get the hang of it, and I just think there's so much to unpack in this tower, especially on the later floors, that you can't help but wonder how they managed to cram all that in. There's a really wide variety of everything in this tower, and I believe it kind of inspired some towers that would eventually succeed it in a way. This tower is one that often gets a lot of hate for its sight readability being poor and a lot of the gameplay being annoying. While yes, the gameplay can suck at points, it's important to recognise the effort that did go into this tower. It's really cool what they did with the whole different biomes idea. And while it's an idea that would end up being used to death in the future, it's kinda cool how this tower was kinda like the pioneer of this theme. The gameplay can be weird and does have difficulty spikes, but there were genuinely some parts that impressed me the more I played, and by the end I had actually really enjoyed the experience. That said, you do kind of need to know what you're doing to enjoy this one though, and the collecting buttons thing is a cool idea in theory, but it can be horrible if you happen to miss one, because you have to go back and check the entire tower to see what you missed, and yeah, that can be annoying I suppose. But otherwise it's a really good tower with some pretty cool ideas, and only a couple flaws. The tower with one of the strangest and most ridiculous frames in the game, Tower of Twisted Inquisition, often receives a lot of hate for its gameplay. Some of these criticisms are fair, but similar to the others, this tower is actually really unique and offers a pretty interesting and wacky experience if you haven't played it yet. While some gameplay is kind of outdated and the tower can seem a bit ugly at times, the tower genuinely feels like a really big adventure. Some mechanics are still quite primitive, but it's really interesting to see what they actually did with the client objects here, and they honestly did do quite well with some of the things that you experience here. I will admit that some parts are annoying though, and it can be difficult to get through this tower without a guide, but still, this one's really interesting to me, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people sleep on it in terms of like some of the earlier creative towers. This tower mostly gets a lot of hate due to the large dislike of the ice gameplay, which is fair, but I think people ignore just how much this tower did. I mean, it was literally the first tower in the game to ever include a boss fight, which to me is really cool. While this boss fight is nowhere near as advanced as others in the future, it's still pretty cool that it exists, all things considered. A lot of areas in the tower appear to have very creative concepts that honestly don't get enough recognition. Some of the client objects are really complex for their time, and the only thing that holds this tower back is the fact that the ice gameplay can be kind of annoying. And it can definitely cause a lot of problems if you struggle with it a lot, but if you get used to the ice, then honestly this tower might be one of the really good experiences from Zone 2 in my opinion. I am a firm believer that this Steeple is one of the stronger ones in Arcane Area, and that people just don't like it because it drags on a little bit. This is something that can be quite annoying, but for the most part, the gameplay actually remains quite engaging. They experiment with a lot of different things here, and the design and overall atmosphere of the Steeple is actually pretty cool in a lot of different areas. While yes, some of the gameplay is a little bit annoying, I think we can all agree that for the most part this Steeple was a really interesting one, and managed to flow relatively well considering how many creators were working on it. The gameplay is just a little learny in my opinion, and that's gonna be the case because there's so many different gameplay styles due to the amount of people that are working on this, so yeah, it kind of makes sense. But yeah, understandable, people don't like it, but at the end of the day, I think it's actually a pretty cool Steeple. The final tower on this list, I see a lot of people give this tower a lot of hate, and honestly I genuinely don't know why. The gameplay is very fun, and there's a really wide variety of mechanics and jumps used that really help spice the tower up. It's a perfect blend between modern and classic gameplay, and honestly it makes for a very enjoyable experience. Also, the soundtrack for this tower is goated as well, absolutely love it. Gameplay can be learny I suppose, and yeah, maybe it's slightly above its intended difficulty with a few spikes, and it's kind of forgettable, but honestly I just don't think this one deserves the hate when it's actually a really good experience if you just give it a chance. So yeah, it's a pretty good tower in my opinion, and honestly, I don't know why people hate it. So yeah, a lot of these towers are just slightly flawed in my opinion. There are definitely some out there that deserve a bit of flack, but these ones don't, if you consider what they were trying to do. Thank you all so much for watching, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let me know some towers that you think are overhated, or if you think some of these ones that I put on the list do deserve the hate that they get. Have a great day, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now, and see ya.